Now, it was a chaotic atmosphere full of anger and the breakdown of law and order when residents of Adenta spontaneously couldn't hold back anymore as they watched innocent lives snuffed out on the road daily. The death of a 22-year-old incoming first-year student of West Africa Senior High School yesterday afternoon broke the camel's back. It's either the footbridges are completed now or no one would use a stretch anymore. That was a chant of the rampaging youth. So they burned tires right in the middle of the road to register their displeasure. For all the action you might have missed, Joy News' Komla Adum brings you a wrap of yesterday's protest at Adenta.
They burned car tires, mounted roadblocks, and before long, hundreds of residents poured onto the streets. The thick black cloud of smoke from the burning filled the air. The residents were simply angry at another knockdown, this time of a first-year West Africa Senior High School students. She was run over by a speeding vehicle at Adenta SDA Junction while crossing the stretch. The driver, from what witnesses told me, sensing the anger and outrage of the residents who had begun massing up at the time, ran to the Adenta police for cover. That was after he was reportedly giving a hot chase. The residents say it took police more than 40 minutes to arrive at the scene, at which time the schoolgirl had died. The residents chanting and singing, booing the police away, would not allow any vehicle to use the stretch. The number grew by the minute, and soon police began to use some force to control the crowd of residents clustered on the stretch. While police used water cannons and tear gas to disperse the crowd, there was a fightback. They pelted the police and their vehicles with stones. And not even Chief Superintendent Kwesifori was spared. He, like many of the residents, had to run for cover too. This sparked firing of live rounds by police, indiscriminate shooting into the crowd. Chief Superintendent Kwesifori said they had to meet the residents with force to prevent a fatal situation.
Oh, for now, we have relative calm here. Initially, we engaged them, but a section of the youth again decided to use violence. And the police used appropriate force levels to stabilize the general security in this very community. So far, so good for our operations. We are now clearing the road for commuters, to go to their various destinations. And this is what we are doing, and also to ensure the safety of the commuters. This is what we are doing at the moment.
Okay, so the firing of the gunshots and all was to ward off the residents here, essentially. I see a lot of stones and pebbles all over the place.
Yeah, one thing is the police, we are for peace. We are in to stabilize the situation. But you might have noticed that some of the irate youth have that primary objective to injure and inflict wounds on the police. And officer safety in police operations is paramount. So we have to ward off those attacks using the tear gas and create desirable conditions for us to effect peace and security in this community.
I saw that at some point you were even caught up in the center of all of the agitations and you had to move away from, the pelting of the stones and all of that. But now you say the situation is stabilized, but the residents are still all over the place.
Yeah, we engaged them, we spoke to them to see the need for the commuters to go about their normal life. But some irate youth have taken the laws into their own hands, throwing all kinds of dangerous implements, stones, and so forth. And the police cannot permit that.
But Mr. Kwesifori, I was here when you started shooting before the stones were being thrown. It can't be the case where the stones were thrown at you. I was here.
Your colleagues might have noticed that we spoke to them. They agree, and they themselves even said we should all clear the road. But all of a sudden there were some attacks behind us, which we came in. For now, we've stabilized the situation.
So you just heard there Kwesifori, who is the Accra Region Police Operations Commander, and he's been telling us about the situation here. Earlier, there were firing of gunshots from all angles. The police were trying to ward off the angry and agitating crowd of residents who were here. I can see most of them right now have taken onto the story buildings at the shoulders of a road. Some of them, went into, many of the mechanic shops and all the other places. It has been a very chaotic atmosphere here, I have to say. As you can see in your picture, the debris from the burning of the car tires is now being cleared, and then they are trying to fix the road so that the motorists coming from the Medina area will have a thoroughfare to be able to use this stretch after minutes and hours of burning of car tires, of roadblocks, and standoff with the police essentially. So that is the situation here right now. Earlier, we were at the exact spot where the young lady of a West Africa Senior High School was knocked down. Blood of a young lady splattered all over the place. Body parts, dismembered body parts scattered on the streets. And from eyewitness accounts, it took a long time for the police to even respond to the situation, to come and then begin clearing the area here. It appears the residents still, they do not have enough of exactly what's happened here. I see that they are still, lined up on the streets, the entire area. Earlier, they were pelting stones, they were throwing pebbles from all.
Now, still on this issue, schools along the Adenta-Medina highway seem to be the worst hit in the carnage on the road. There are at least 6 schools along the 2-kilometer stretch, and this year many of the pupils and students have been knocked down and killed, while others have been maimed for life. At the West Africa Senior High School, at least 6 students have been knocked down by vehicles this year alone. But WAS is not alone. At least 4 other schools have had their students knocked down, with some currently nursing severe injuries.
I stepped my foot on the street. Then the car I saw that came to pass hit me, and my legs were under the tire. My leg was under the tire, and it scratched me on the ground.
That was 15-year-old Form 3 students of Elim School at Medina Zongo Junction, knocked down by a vehicle 3 weeks ago.
I couldn't walk freely and go to the canteen to buy food. I had to send some of my friends to go and do that for me.
He's currently able to move only with a cervical collar, while his leg wounds are heavily bandaged.
The doctor said I shouldn't be moving my neck just anyhow, otherwise I might get paralyzed.
Director of the Elim School, Gabriel Gadamo, is outraged at the several knockdowns on the stretch. At least 4 of his students have been knocked down by speeding vehicles.
Lives are being lost every day. Our school children are being knocked here and there every day. Even though maximum precautions are being taken, children are talked to, some are even held to cross the road. But one day, this knocking takes place.
The teachers are not spared either.
We need immediate action to be taken on this thing. Otherwise, more lives, more future children or more future workers, labor force of the country are being destroyed.
Directly opposite the Elim School is the La Nkwantanine DA Primary and Junior High School. Here, only last month, they buried a primary school pupil who was knocked and killed on the highway. A teacher at the school who spoke to me off record said in the last year, a parent and 3 other students were knocked down. At Adenta, parents are withdrawing their children from the Tot to Teen school for fear of getting killed.
The school has lost some of their children because the parents are afraid. They come to school only to be told that they are knocked down by a car, which is worrying.
Headmaster Emmanuel Kwesi Achin Kwansa says not even the intervention by school authorities to hire wardens to help the children cross the road has addressed the situation.
We solicited some wardens, 3 of them who come every day for us to give them allowance at the end of every month. So that's what is sustaining us.
At the West Africa Senior High School, there has been more than 5 knockdowns since January. Entriofori is headmaster of the school.
This academic year, we've had about 6 knockdowns, but this is the only one that the student in question died in the process.
These school authorities have been recounting incidents of knockdowns on the stretch this year alone. This recent incident, they believe, should be the last of student deaths from knockdowns. But until some drastic action now, I'm afraid this will remain a dream, because many more students continue to make the dangerous journey across the stretch, sometimes of no return.
Now, for some residents, the spontaneous demonstration yesterday was just a curtain raiser for their planned peace walk on Monday to register their displeasure about the carnage on the highway. The residents say, but for police present there this morning, they would have continued the protest to pile pressure on government to finish work on their footbridges. Maxwell Agbagba visited the protest scene this morning and spoke to the father of an 8-year-old boy who was hit by a car on the highway 2 days ago and other residents.
Road no omanya road na my ebe high. Che ndra and then 4 days akola ba kuda hospital. Ndra yakoti ya say afani trim. There's a Quran in Kasabi. Yes, afani trim want to mean Kasabi. Asana ade chi here, asana we su besi.
Well, he's recounting all the accidents that have happened on this stretch just some days ago, and he's also making reference to the father of the girl who was knocked down, on a boy who was knocked down on this stretch just on Wednesday. Come. Yeah, let's stop. Thank you very much, sir. Well, he's begging for assistance for this man's daughter, because he says the girl is in a critical condition. How old is the boy?
8 years.
A boy, 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Which class?
Class 1.
Now, the Director of Public Relations of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, says the police will be running a 3-shift system on the stretch to maintain order.
We are going to run 3 shifts. The first in the afternoon, and if it is possible, night shift, to make sure that we ensure the safety of motorists and pedestrians around this area. Fortunately now, the situation has been brought under control, and we hope that we'll get the necessary cooperation. It's a painful situation. It is a painful incident that could have been avoided, but since it has happened, and they have made their point strongly that there's a need for immediate engineering intervention, because if you look at the stretch of the road, it is very difficult for the police to line up along this stretch. But the most effective that we know that can be done, and we recommend, is that there must be an immediate engineering intervention. If you drive down there, the traffic light there has been off for more than 2 or 3 months. It has not been fixed, and that has compounded the problem. A police officer was knocked down here recently at the junction there on a motorbike when he was trying to control traffic. So you can see the danger that this stretch of the road poses, and it is all because of the engineering intervention or the engineering defects in this built-up area. So I hope that we should be able to work around it. But whilst we are doing it, we are doing what we can do now to maintain law and order, help pedestrians and motorists to go about their duties without any much of this stress.
Johnny's were here yesterday, and our camera has actually captured some of your men brutalizing and assaulting some of their protesters. Even as we speak today, a 14-year-old boy is still at the hospital because he was traveling with his mother, and then a stray bullet penetrated their car and then hit the boy inside. What do you make of all that happened yesterday in terms of the brutality and then the assault?
Police officers were called in to restore order. If the police had not responded in a timely manner, you can imagine the chaos, the mayhem that would have erupted, because there was a riot situation virtually building up. So the police stepped in to maintain order. Now, in regards to the 14-year, with regards
the resident says it's an 8-year-old boy.
No, our checks indicate
14. Okay, so we're right. 14-year-old.
He was treated and discharged at the Nyaho clinic. Okay. So the boy, thankfully, the boy is out of danger now, and he has been treated and discharged from Nyaho clinic. That is the information we have now. Okay. I've gone to the Adenta police station. So far, we have not received any report of anybody sustaining any injuries apart from the 14-year-old boy.
Now, pressure group Occupy Ghana has waded into this controversy. They have itemized a number of measures it wants a government to implement with regards to this particular Medina Adenta stretch. However, let's take a moment and go back to that person who died yesterday after being knocked down by a vehicle. Maxwell Agbagba has been speaking with her friend.
It's a sad moment here at the residence of the deceased, the girl who was knocked down by a vehicle on the Adenta Medina highway. I have her best friend here. She's inconsolable at this point, but we're just trying to get some few words from her. What's your name?
Ilham.
Ilham. She was a friend. How close were you?
We were very close. You see, I'm born on the 13th of October and she was born on the 31st October. So we were so close that the last time I even saw her was on Saturday, last week Saturday. And she was making fun of me that she has completed school and I'm now going to start. And before she left, I hit her and she was like...
She's on the green track and you're on the gold track.
Before she left, I hit her and she was like, Ilham, I won't mind you. I'll catch you next week. So she was like, Ilham, I won't mind you next week. I'll see you next week.
So that's the last time you saw her?
That's the last time I saw her. But the day before she died, I was chatting with her on WhatsApp. So yesterday I was there and my cousin called me. And she was like, have you heard what happened? And I'm like, what happened? And she was like, they said Mariam has passed away. And I even insulted her and I cut the call and she was calling again. No, at that same time, someone called my sister and the person was telling my sister that Mariam has passed away. Then the person sent her a picture. That's the time I believe, like, I saw that it's true, Mariam has passed away.
You have our deepest condolences, okay? Thanks so much for talking to us. Okay, so that's the best friend of the deceased who passed away yesterday on the Medina Adenta.
Right, let's stay a bit longer with the story because, as we said earlier, Pressure Group Occupy Ghana has itemized a number of measures it wants governments to implement with immediate effect to reduce the carnage on that highway. Among some of these measures are the imposition and enforcement of specific speed limits on that stretch of road. They also suggest construction of rumble strips on a stretch of road beginning from the University of Ghana to the Pantine end of the highway to reduce the unnecessary speeding of drivers and replacement of all faulty traffic lights with modern solar-powered lights, and also the provision of extra traffic lights with a toucan crossing system to allow free flow of traffic. Here's a member of Occupy Ghana speaking on News Desk with Mamavi Osabaji.
Practically, feasibility studies are always, part of the formation of construction of the road. And definitely the engineers will say you need 6 bridges, footbridges at certain areas, okay, so that pedestrians could find it very easy to cross to the other road. This is a multiple lane road, okay? Right, in construction of roads, we have the dual carriage, we have the multiple lane road, and this is 6 lane. And it is never possible for anybody to cross a 6 lane highway. You'll be knocked down, right? So we had it all wrong from the beginning. So I believe what we all say, what the 194 is what we know. And there are so many incidents where people have had injuries, had their hands, legs maimed, and so on, that have not been counted. Right, so we had it all wrong from the beginning. We, in the first place, the road shouldn't have even been commissioned. Okay, we should have waited for the pedestrian safety to be prioritized as number 1 first. After all, who uses the road? Right, if people are driving, people must cross the road. Okay, we have the same thing on the N1. We're not talking about it now, but a lot of deaths do occur on daily basis on the N1. I mean, what we are seeing at the Adenta is nothing, right? But why do we have to sit down for this to happen? Why do we wait for all this to happen? 11 good years now. So is the government trying to tell us that they haven't noticed that the footbridges have not been constructed? And what do we have in place? So we had it all wrong. In fact, I will even suggest that all those people who are involved, Ghana Highway authorities and so on, they should bow their face in shame. They should even leave their positions, right? We have very good engineers, but if they are not doing their work well and this has happened, then they should leave their positions and give way to other people to work.
Now, NDC presidential hopeful Professor Joshua Alabi says the Roads and Highways Minister must be sacked. According to him, his response to the 194 deaths due to lack of footbridges on that stretch leaves much to be desired. He spoke to Raymond Aqua on Upfront last night.
You follow. The first time, second, third time you moved in. You see, when bureaucracy fails, national security moves in.
I see.
And that's why I believe they should have moved in as early as possible. We could have avoided this. And now we have it. Moving, you are talking of coming to organize a press conference, then you go to Parliament, and the people are really burning ties and whatever they're mobilizing. And you think it's not a security threat to all of us? It is. So at the end, it will not only be the problem that we are facing, but it will even escalate and move into other areas. I think that the president must call the minister to order and just move in national security, the military, to go and fix that thing for us as early as possible. And, right. So when you see yourself in all this position, you understand the people,
okay,
and you know how to act when you have problems. So I'm telling you, I would have acted very fast on the problem that you just did. No, because you are there for the people. And when you are
if you are president, what would have been your reaction towards this minister?
Towards this minister,
yes.
The minister telling the whole world,
yes,
that even though people are dying, I'm coming from Western region,
yeah,
to organize a press conference.
Yeah,
right.
Brief Parliament first.
A brief Parliament.
Yes.
Then organize a press conference before I go through the procurement processes. Okay, you are fired. The people are dying. You are fired.
You are fired.
You are fired. People are dying. You are fired.
Would you ask the president to do so to him?
Well, everybody has a style, and maybe this is a style, but that is not my style. You are fired.
Still watching Joy News today, I am Daniel Daze. We'll take a quick breather, but still up ahead, an 18-year-old student abducted by armed men in Bosome-Frehu district of the Ashanti region has been found. He was abducted with his father, who was hacked to death by their abductors. Now, the 2018 edition of the Love FM Golden Tulip Beauty and Bridal Fair opens today, Friday, November 9. The three-day event brings together exhibitors and patrons on a single platform for exchange of products and services targeted especially for existing and potential customers, or couples, I should say. The opening ceremony will be climaxed with the trademark colorful dummy wedding. This time round, a traditional wedding. Prince Apia gives you a bite of what to expect and how things are shaping up at the Golden Tulip Hotel.
Work is ongoing earnestly as exhibitors put up their stalls and stands in various shapes and sizes. This is the Golden Tulip Kumasi City, where everything about the Love FM Beauty and Bridal Fair is going to take place, right from the traditional weddings to the dummy weddings to exhibitors selling at discounted prices. You might want to come around and check out things for yourself. Now, everything is shaping up. People are putting together their stands, expected to provide a lot of beautiful things to you, the customers out there. More than 30 exhibitors will be occupying these stands at the round pavilion of the Golden Tulip from Friday to Sunday. The theme for this year's event is Improved renewed and better. Events and Promotions Executive James Hemans explains.
Bridal Fair has seen some additions, and we're talking of the free makeup tutorial, which is a craze among young ladies now. It is something people pay money for, but this year all we're saying is that we're making it free. Apart from that, we have Singles Summit, which is on Friday night. We have the best of speakers coming to engage young men and women. And then, of course, a fashion show. And the fashion show this time is improved. It's going to get better. We are doing this in collaboration with Bright Magazine, a fashion agency. So it tells you that we've upped the class of the fashion show. So I mean, we wish everybody a beautiful experience during the bridal fair from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and also believe that we do business, buy and sell, and network.
Some of the exhibitors have been speaking about what to expect at the fair.
This is Delphina Apiakubi, the CEO of Del Fashion World. We are coming with quality and trendy ladies and gents wear, from shoes, bags, belts, suits, watches, fascinators, perfumes, earrings, etc.
So when you choose wedding in a box, there's no need to stress yourself going for various different vendors, because you have everything in one box, from your makeup, your hair, your skin therapy, your caterer, your DJ, photo, videography, your chauffeur, your costume, that is for the bride and the groom, and apart from venue. And we also do a preview for you. So guests should come look for Wedding in the Box stand.
Hello, I'm Sandra Mankwa, manager for Daffy Beauty Parlor. We are located in Kumasi, adjacent Baba Yara Sports Stadium. We deal in pedicure, manicure, facials, makeup, treatments, that is a firm and keratin, and others. And prospective couples should expect nothing but the best from Daffy Beauty Parlor, which comes with affordable prices and discounts.
More financial institutions and health service providers will also be there. Partners Golden Tulip Kumasi City are promising a good weekend treat for exhibitors and visitors.
My name is Prince Apia, reporting right here from the Golden Tulip.
We'll stay in the Ashanti region because unknown assailants have attacked and butchered a farmer and abducted his 18-year-old son at a spot between Tonfukrom and Nsuta in the Bosomefriho district of Ashanti. 59-year-old Obodai was sending his ward to school when he was attacked about 3 hours ago. His lifeless body with machete wounds to his head, shoulders, arms and other parts of the body was found on a bushy road. His motorbike and the boy's school bag have been found lying close to him. Let's get onto the phone and speak with Erastus Asaridonko for more in this sad story. Erastus, first of all, we understand the son has been found.
Yes, he was found, that's about 2 hours ago, in one of the close by. From the understanding we get, he was attacked. He had sustained some machete wounds to the cheek. There's a huge gash to the cheek. One eye is almost gone, and there are several cutlass wounds to the head and the arms, and his whole body is smeared with blood. So he was found in that condition in one of the bushes nearby.
So where is he now?
Currently, he has been sent to the New Edubiase government hospital where he's being treated.
Has he been able to tell us what happened to him?
In fact, from the understanding we get, he's unconscious and he cannot relate very well with his surroundings. And so the doctors are waiting for him to be able to be sustained or revived. And then police will get to speak with him on what exactly happened. Speaking of police, what's the word from them? Well, I called the police commander. Apparently, it's deep within the forest, and so word had not gotten to the police yet. So I had to call the regional police commander, and he has also sent some men in there to investigate. Thank you, Erastus Asaridonko, for that report.
Now, before we bring you business, her dreams and aspirations have all become a mirage. At age 42, Esinam Agbleta was diagnosed with a kidney disease, which has rendered her a burden on her only brother, who had to leave his family to take care of her. Nancy Emefa Dradosi brings you a story of how the life of a vibrant young trader has now come to a standstill.
This is Esinam Agbleta, about a year ago, selling cabbage at the Medina market. That is her also at church 2 or 3 years ago, and here with her only son who is in the university. Now, this is Esinam. She is sick, pale, wrinkled, and weakly. Life is gradually robbing her of almost everything. Both of her kidneys are damaged. Every day she lives is a real battle.
I'm unable to do anything. I can't walk. Someone has to carry me.
People who suffer such terminal ailments need to be cared for. That requires a lot of sacrifices by relatives. Esinam's elder brother, Daniel Agbleta, has been caring for her.
It worries me. I left my wife and children to take care of my only sister. It's disturbing.
People battling kidney diseases have to be on dialysis. That often requires patients to set aside 3 to 5 hours for treatment, plus travel to and from the treatment center 3 times a week. This can be very expensive. Esinam cannot pay to be on dialysis regularly.
Why job dialysis? Dialysis gawenya. Obevu. Ma dia ina ipi church le Medina. Ko ma di o pere mi awon na mi fu. Later on
dialysis is costly.
For dialysis.
It is her EP church that helped with some 5,000 Ghana cedis. We have already spent 40,000 Ghana cedis.
More than almost 400 million. It will pass because lab, even metals are dropping in and out 160.
Neighbors of Esinam have seen her bright and sunny days, and now all of those happy moments have turned into a bleak reality. Vivian Tello is crushed when she looks at Esinam and how the disease has affected her.
I haven't visited her in 3 weeks because my heart beats fast any time I see her. It's pathetic.
Esinam is gradually losing her sense of living, except that her only reason to fight to see the next day is her only son. The only reason Esinam decided to force this ball of banku down her throat. Her first heavy meal in 3 days.
Crushing story there, but on this note, we take a breather, and Sandra Esinam Afenu will bring you business.